Okay, this is a test. This is a test. This is a test. I look like ass. Why do I look like ass? Hi, welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for understanding. I have to apologize. I have been in Germany for the last 3 weeks. On May 13th, my father passed away, and I had to be there for my mom and my sister and the funeral and all that. So I had to leave real quick, and I knew this time would come. And I'm 51 now. My dad was 87. He had a long, happy life and a peaceful death, and there's really not much more we can wish for. So I apologize for being away for so long. I'm hoping I can settle a little bit and concentrate on filming more. So thanks for staying with me. Thanks for being patient. I really appreciate you being here. That said, first thing, let's straighten the stupid camera. Okay, that's better. Next, on June 3rd, that was Monday, the Worldwide Developers Conference was in San Jose, and it was a huge, I've never seen a crowd like that. It was a huge crowd. It was an Apple event. There's a whole week of things that it's going to happen with app developers that work with iOS and Mac and so on. So Tim Cook had a 2.5-hour video, lots of people on stage showing what they've been working on, and I loved it. I watched the whole thing, and it was at times very hard to understand for somebody like me I'm not a developer, I'm just an end user. But there are so many beautiful things coming to the Apple universe. I just thought I want to film this little video. So I have some notes here, so excuse me when I look down every once in a while. And the first thing they talked about was tvOS. It's the software that's running the Apple TV. There's a lot of changes coming to that because they already announced that Apple is going to have their own program. It's their own Apple Netflix. They're going to produce TV shows. They're going to produce movies. You have to subscribe to that as well. And it's just like, how many more things are going to subscribe to? I don't know. tvOS is going to be more refined. There's going to be more games on it. Games can then be played with controllers from Xbox or PS4, which is great because pretty much every household has one of those. So you already have a controller that you can use to play on the Apple TV. So I'm not sure how much more games and how much more refined games are coming to the Apple TV, but it's looking promising. The next thing they were talking about was Apple WatchOS, which I have the Apple Watch 4, which I love, and I was excited to find out that there's going to be a lot more watch faces coming to the Apple Watch. And some of the watch faces that are already there, the utility watch face, for example, they're going to have the monochromatic look. So when you're adding all these little apps on your screen, you can now choose just one color scheme. It doesn't have to be so colorful. It's a thing that irks me when there's too many colors on my Apple Watch. If I have a brown band, I want all the icons to be brown, matching with, you know what I mean? I'm difficult. I know, I'm difficult. You can now have independent apps for the Apple Watch. You don't have to buy a watch app that is part installed on the phone and part on the watch. You can now have just an app installed on the watch. It runs independently from the iPhone, so you can download them on the watch too. You can have your own little app store on the watch. You don't need your phone anymore for that. What's really nifty is that they are going to put an app on there. It's going to be an Apple app written by Apple that's going to measure your noise pollution. If you're in a very noisy environment and you're kind of worried, how loud is that? Is that going to be bad for me? You can then tap on that app, and the watch is going to measure the sound with its built-in microphone, and they're going to tell you if it's harmful, if you should put earplugs in or remove yourself from the environment, which is a great thing to have because a watch is always there with you. Even if your phone is in your pocket somewhere, your watch is there on your wrist, and you'll be able to quickly determine if this environment is too loud or not. So that was really cool. Also, Apple is expanding its health app to include cycle tracking. I don't know how long it took them to do that. I mean, 50% of people on earth are females. Let's help them out a little bit. But yeah, cycle tracking is now coming to the Apple Watch. It's going to be easy to put on the watch, very discreet. You don't have to have the big screen, somebody sit next to you and you put your period in there, and they're not gonna, it's going to be discreet. And I don't know why we have to be ashamed of our period, but that's the way it is. So next, iOS 13. So the operating system on the iPhone is going to be upgraded to iOS 13, which I'm not worried about, because 13 is not an unlucky number everywhere in the world. For example, in Italy, 13 is not unlucky. I think in Italy, the unlucky number is 17. So 13 is just a number. So iOS 13 is coming out in fall, and it's going to have a bunch of new features. They didn't even mention all of them. They just mentioned a few. What's coming is 30% faster unlocking of Face ID. It's already super fast. I don't know how much faster they're going to make it, but there it is. App launch. They're going to rewrite the size of the apps when you download the apps from the App Store, and when you're downloading updates to set apps, they're all going to be packaged much smaller. It's going to be less bandwidth, less data consumption, and they're going to be much faster to launch and operate. 2 times faster launch of apps. That's big. Dark mode is coming to iOS 13. I'm not too worried about that. Like, dark mode is something that I don't have to have it, but it's cool to have the choices. A quick path keyboard, meaning you put your finger on the keyboard and you leave it on the keyboard, and you write like that. Android has it. I think some of the keyboards, the secondary keyboards that you can download from the App Store, have it. This is now coming to iOS 13 as well. Yes, the Reminder app is going to be completely revamped. I'm not sure how much of a competition it's going to be with Things. I just recently invested in all the Things app because I love it. Things is helping me organize my life. Little plug here. It's not sponsored or anything like that. Things for iOS, Things for Apple Watch, Things for iPad, and Things for Mac is just absolutely fantastic. I love the whole thing. Maps also get an update. Apple has been driving around and flying around like crazy with cameras and GPSs on their devices so that they can make new, more detailed, better maps for their customers. And what they were showing us looked fantastic. Unfortunately, for now, these are limited to the US. They're concentrating on mapping out the entire US with beautiful 3D maps, and the Street View is just a whole new ball game. Google Street View is great. This is amazing. What I was super excited about was the new feature that it's coming, and it's probably coming even before iOS 13 is going to be launched, if I'm understanding that correctly. Apple is going to give you a sign-in with Apple ID. Okay, I need to explain this. A lot of websites that you have to sign in for let you sign in instead of with your email address and your password. You can just click and sign in with Facebook, sign in with Twitter. But when you do that, you give these apps or these companies access to your login name. You don't give them access to your password, but you give them access to your login name, and they can see what you're posting. They can see. So this is kind of a privacy issue, and Apple decided we're going to do this too, but we're going to do it differently. So you can now sign in with your Apple ID, meaning on these websites you can also use Face ID, and then you have the option to, instead of sharing with this company your Apple email address that is connected to your Apple ID, they're going to generate a one-time use email address to sign up with this company that is only good for this one time. Similar to what they're doing with the Apple Pay. If you're using your credit card at a merchant with Apple Pay, Apple doesn't give out your credit card number. Apple generates a credit card number that's for a one-time. So if this company gets broken into and somebody hacks into their computers, they don't have your payment information. They just have this one-time credit card information, and you're safe. Your data is safe. So Apple is doing that same thing with the Apple sign in, which I'm super excited. In fact, people were excited. I think there was a 3-minute pause for just people applauding. They were just so excited about this. There's going to be more options to jazz up your memojis. You can add makeup, eyeshadow, earrings, whatever. So unfortunately, memojis, all the memojis look the same. They don't have the face shapes or whatever. So, but you can add more special things now, and then you can make stickers that you can use across operating systems. You can send them to your Android friends. You can send them your smiling face as a memoji or a face palm or whatever. You can make these stickers that you can use across the board, which is kind of neat, but it's a thing. Photo editing, video editing, you can rotate videos now. You can apply filters to your videos. The photo viewing app is going to be all new. AI is going to jump in. For example, if you have a bunch of photos of this day and you also have a bunch of screenshots of this day, they're only going to show you the photos when you want to see only the photos. It's kind of sorting it out, and it makes it a bit nicer all over. There was also some stuff about Carplay. I didn't really pay attention because I don't have Carplay. I have a aftermarket Bluetooth receiver in my car. So they were saying that with Siri, they can now read you the email or the text message, and then you can say, Siri, tell them that I'll be there, whatever. So that's kind of neat. I'm hoping it's going to work for other things too, not just on Apple CarPlay. Oh, and Siri gets a much nicer speech thing. Like if you listen to sentences of Siri, they sound like a robot. Siri sounds like a robot, and they've worked really hard on making it smoother and more natural sounding. So the example they had on that keynote was really nice. So now that's iOS 13. iOS 13 is going to be only for the phone, because this fall they're launching the new iPad OS, which is going to give, and this is one of the most exciting news of the day. Like, iPads are great, but in so many ways they restrict you. For example, your browsing experience is not the same as on a desktop. Why am I still running to my iMac? Because the browser is just different. The Safari on the Mac is just so much better than on the iPad. But they're going to change that. They're going to give you a desktop experience on the iPad. You can have a better home screen. You can pin your widgets, so your appointments of the day, you can pin them on the side and have it always come open when you turn it on. You can get multitasking, because you can now open 2 instances of everything. You can have 2 instances of the Note app, and you copy from one side to the other just by dragging and dropping, which is great. File preview. You can now add a USB stick to your iPad and view all the files, not just photos, which is like, whoa, that's what I wanted. Apple Pencil is going to be much, much faster and smoother. Right now it's at 20 ms, whatever that means. They're going to reduce it down to 9, so it's going to be literally, it's already crazy how nice it feels and how much it feels like writing on paper. It's going to be amazing. Oh, and support for fonts. We're going to get more fonts in our iPads. I'm so excited about that. I'm hoping they're going to give us some fonts for our books as well. All right, the next thing, again, I was kind of tuning out a little bit because they were talking about the new Mac Pro. And they should have said, you know, I was listening to it. It's just great. This is a great machine, and it has so many features, and it has so many things. And the screen is amazing. It's a 6K screen, 32 inches. It does everything and except making your coffee in the morning. But they should have mentioned the price first. The Mac Pro at the base configuration is $6,000 US without tax. And the screen is another $5,000. I'm not dissing this computer. I think if you're a professional in the field, if you're a professional photographer, you make money with photography, if you make money with videography, by all means, go and get it. It's a great machine, and I'm sure it's going to last you a long time if that's your thing. But for normal consumers like us, just next. Just don't even worry about it. 6K retina display. You're going to make these photos appear so beautiful, and then your client gets them and he can't even see the beauty that you did because their computer doesn't have a 1,000,000 to 1 contrast ratio. You know what I'm saying? Mac OS also will be coming this fall. It's called Catalina, and I don't know, maybe it's probably another place down in California, something like that. iTunes, as we know it, will disappear. There's going to be Apple Music, podcasts, and TV movies. So there's 3 apps. And apparently when you plug in your phone on your Mac now, iTunes doesn't pop up anymore. It's almost like plugging a phone into a Windows computer. Now you can browse your files. I'm not sure. I didn't really pay attention. I'm sorry. That's just down the line. I don't even know if my computer's new enough that I can update this Catalina thing there and there. Well, you now use your iPad as a secondary Mac display, which is great. So many apps already do that. You have to pay like a monthly fee in order to use this. This is now coming free with the Mac. There's amazing voice control that you can use if you're disabled, if you can't use your hands, if you're lying in bed. You can basically command the entire computer with your voice. They were showing an example. It blew me away. It's fantastic. It's going to open up the computers to so many more people in this world, which is fabulous. Find My Mac. It's going to be changed. It's going to be combined with Find My Friends. Your Mac is going to be findable even if it's offline, because he said something about piggybacking data on top of others. I didn't really get it, but it means that if you forget your Mac at the coffee shop, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but you can still find it. Or if somebody steals it, not only can you find it, but these people that stole it cannot do anything with it, because apparently the new encryption is like, without your password, forget it. So do not forget your password. Apparently there's a project called Catalyst, and you can then move apps that are made for the phone to the Mac. We knew this was coming. I'm not sure how this is going to look like. I think this is a couple years down the road. Lastly, they talked about AR and they talked about Swift, the programming language. I already tuned out at that point. I didn't care because I'm neither a programmer nor I care about AR. They were showing some example of Minecraft, which I don't know if Minecraft is your thing. It's going to be awesome. You can be in Minecraft. Just watch the keynote if you're into that. It's going to be great towards the end. So this is pretty much all of it. Okay, the Mac Pro and the new display, if you so wish, is available in fall. The public betas are available in July of all these softwares, but the release is in fall. So I'm going to stay away from the public betas because I know this is, if you don't have another phone available, don't even, I'm just going to wait until the fall. But it's going to be a long wait because the things they're bringing, and they haven't even mentioned all of the things like using a mouse with your iPad Pro, things like that. They haven't even touched certain things that afterwards the tech writers found out that there were so many more little things that are embedded in these new software updates. It's going to be amazing. It's going to give you practically a brand new device. One of the reasons that I love Apple so much is that their devices last a lot longer because you get these updates and they add new features and functionalities, and it's free and it's seamless, and you wake up the next morning and suddenly you have a brand new phone on your night table. So that was the update that I wanted to bring up. I filmed this whole thing before and my camera didn't work, my sound didn't work, my card corrupted, and it was the whole mess. I had to do it again. I know the second time is never as good as the first time, but sadly the first time didn't record, so I had to do it again. I want to thank you one more time for your patience, for sticking with me. I love you guys so much, and I'm so sorry I had to leave you for so long. I hope you understand that sometimes in life things happen that you just have to make your choices, and my choice was to be with my family at that time. I'm back now. I'm hoping everything's going to normalize. Thank you for being on this channel. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for watching this video. And I really, really hope I'll see you again next time. Bye.